conceptual perspective, then people talk about a desire to be successful. All of the elements they think, intelligence, expertise. Hey, how much am I willing to give up and commitment, and are not committed to the struggle, acquiescing to the struggle, they're committed.
Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. Hope that at the time that you're watching this video, things are going well for you. You're in sync with your energy, your vision, your desires, your hopes, your destiny. If not, all you have to do is recenter, press the reset button, establish who you are, where you're going, and recenter yourself. Normally, I would be doing this earlier in the day than what it is now, and I would be doing it as a live stream. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that done this morning. There's a lot going on. We're homeschooling this year, and that definitely has an impact on things. But I'm excited about everything that's going on as far as Team Wallace is concerned. There's a lot, but hey, that's what we asked for, so we're putting in the work. And that means us as well as the kids. So we're excited about that. We are loving what the possibilities look like, not only for ourselves, but for our children. So what I'm doing now is actually recording this, and I'll get it edited and produced, and I'll get it up at whatever time you see it posted on the different channels that it'll be posted on. But I just wanted to truly definitely talk about this as Relationship Wednesday. So I didn't want to miss this. And when I was setting up and I said, okay, what am I going to talk about as far as Relationship Wednesday? And I said, maybe, I'm very transparent in the love I have for my wife. People see that all the time. They see me celebrating her. They see me encouraging her. They see me supporting her in her business endeavors. I probably share her stuff as much as she does. And they see me talking about her. They see me with her. So they see that side of things. I said, but what about being transparent about some of the things you need to work on? And I work very hard to be a good, loving, and supportive husband, but I'm not perfect. And I said, okay, what would it look like if, interesting. I'm pretty sure. Okay, what would it look like if, I share something and I'm like, okay, what is it that I could share? And one of the things that I've become aware of that I need to work on, one of the things is that I make it a point, and I am literally proud. I take pride in the fact that I don't allow my feelings to dictate how I deal with my wife. Whatever I do for her when everything is smooth is the same things I do for her, with her, and to her when there may be some disruptions. The beautiful thing about it is we don't have a bunch of disruptions. We don't have daily, weekly, or even monthly arguments. We can go a while without having a disagreement. And normally it's very short because I don't argue with her. I'm not going to exchange words with negative energy with her. I let her stress her point and I say, okay, take it into consideration and we'll talk about it later. And that's the end of it. But it can have an impact on me, but I'm just not going to let that impact allow me to handle her in a way that I shouldn't handle her. However, while I do all these things to make sure that I don't change when things aren't going well, that's just one thing. When I become angry, I become quiet. And in becoming quiet, what I do is, to me, I'm practicing what I've been taught: don't speak out of anger. Something I've learned in my life a long time ago, that you can't retrieve words. So it's best when you're angry to get to yourself, collect yourself, calm down so that you're not speaking from a place of anger. Here's the challenge though. When you're in a relationship and there's this point, your silence can be interpreted as you withdrawing and using your distance and your silence as a way of getting what you want. Well, since that's how you feel about it, then I don't want to talk to you. And so I don't get to act based off of my intent. I have to interpret and understand how she feels matters, whether what she's feeling is accurate or not. So what I had to start working on, and something I'm working on now, is being able to communicate beyond the necessities. I don't go totally quiet. I like just stop talking. And, I talk. If she asks me a question, I answer it, and I'm not answering it rudely. I'm not being coy or anything like that. I just answer it and then I'm done. I'm not my normal talkative self. And it's easy to pick up with me when I'm angry. It's not just her. I just don't talk, and I'm in my thoughts, and I'm thinking it through, but I don't have a lot to say. Well, what happens is that doesn't necessarily work well in a marriage, especially, or in a romantic relationship, because the woman is interpreting it in a certain way. And so what I've got to work on is making sure that I am still accessible, I'm still communicating, and I'm still engaged. I'm present. That's extremely important. You can be right there and not be present. What am I talking about here? So, what is all this about? Why am I being transparent about a weakness of mine? It's because manipulation is one of the most destructive forces in relationships, where people are using separation. Now, your way of, and everybody does it to a certain extent, it's the human nature in you. You're going to express your discontent in some way. However, when you're in a relationship, you have to consider there's not just you, that there's a oneness, and that the oneness has to be in sync. And so, what am I saying? I'm saying that we've got to do a better job of understanding our behavior in times of conflict. I write about this in my book, When Your House Is Not a Home, which is a book that deals with conflict in the marriage, conflict in the home, and how to deal with it. But anyway, so basically what I'm saying is, while you may not be someone that gets quiet, women are real good at getting distant and withholding sex. Women are good at uh, rolling their eyes and little snide comments that are meant to stick and poke. Men become distant. Men will get home later, leave earlier. That's our way of avoiding the conflict, as well as not being in an environment that's just not on the right energy level, not on the right vibration and frequency. But whatever it is a form of manipulation. And then there's also the gaslighting element of it, where the person is trying to reshape the narrative to make the other person feel worse than they already feel, or feel bad, or feel responsible, when they know in truth it's them. Uh, all of these are forms of manipulation, and the whole idea of this is that we've got to get away from attempting to control and manipulate someone, understanding we're dealing with a human, understanding that we're dealing with someone who has needs, someone who has concerns, someone who has weak spots, and we are supposedly joined with this person in order to create a synergy, the syncing of energies, to do some things that we could not do in and of ourselves. We spend a little bit too much time in conflict with one another, and not enough time syncing with one another and working together. And that's what I would want to leave you with, is get away from the entire idea of trying to control somebody, trying to make them be what you want them to be, trying to change them. Understand who you're with. You're supposed to know this before you marry them. The idea that you can marry somebody and you're going to change them is a erroneous concept that has caused so much disharmony and been at the foundation of a multitudinous divorces, separations, and hostile relationships. You have to be willing to evaluate and accept who you have in front of you. And then after you've done that, you've got to know that it's not in the changing of the person that you achieve what you want, but in supporting the strengths that drive the person in the direction that benefits the whole that you win. So instead of trying to change the person, instead of trying to control the person, instead of trying to manipulate the person, instead of trying to get the person to agree with everything that you want them to agree with, find their strengths. So the more you support them in their strengths and in the things that they really are passionate about, the more they'll support you in the things you are passionate about. And the more you'll be able to come in and join and sing together and accomplish some things together. But you will not do that through manipulation. You will not do that through acting out your discontent. See, that's where maturity comes in. And that's what we're supposed to be when we enter into marriage. It's emotionally, physically, psychologically, and spiritually mature. So we should be acting on a level that is reflective of this maturity. And in the maturity, it's not just about me. In the maturity, this entire relationship is actually the most challenging thing I will ever encounter, that challenges me to step outside of myself. Nothing challenges you to step outside of yourself more than marriage, not even parenting. See, parenting, it has a time stamp on it, for the most part, even if I know I got to make sacrifices for my children, but I still can make time for myself. And at a certain point in life, those sacrifices cease because they become adults and they become self-sufficient. So the older they get, the different sacrifices change. I might not have to spend as much time with them, but I'll probably spend more money. But eventually, the sacrifices diminish. And now the greatest sacrifice is probably the investment of emotional worrying, because they're out there on their own finding their way. However, in a marriage, it's supposed to be lifelong, and that person sleeps with you. That person's in the house with you. They're sharing space with you more than anyone else. And the maturity says, it's not just me. I'm stepping outside of myself. That's what has to happen. You have to accept the challenge of marriage. You have to accept the challenge of this romantic relationship, this lifelong commitment, this covenantal agreement of coming together to do something special and extraordinary. It begins with understanding that who I have is who I have. I'm going to spend less time attempting to change them and more time embracing, encouraging, and empowering them. And that's where it comes from. We've got to learn to love one another outside of ourselves. And so that's what I'm going to leave you with. Hope that it helped. I'm about to get off of here. This is going to be short. Normally these are. This is going to be short, but I definitely want to encourage you to do what I do. I wake up every day and I live my life on full. The goal is to live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I'm going to challenge you to do the same thing. Live your life on full and die on E. On that note, I'm out.
From a conceptual perspective, things people talk about in success, all of the elements they think, intelligence, expertise. Hey, how much am I willing to give up and commitment, and are not committed to the struggle, acquiescing to the struggle, they're committed